I'm Kendall Levine. I'm a senior finance major and I'm here to talk about Planned Parenthood and how they use effective marketing skills to help advance their cause and help their customers. So first I'd like to talk about Planned Parenthood as an organization. It is a nonprofit and it's over 100 years old, so they did just celebrate their actually 103rd anniversary, which is pretty awesome. Their main goals are to provide expert health care. They want to educate the community, advocate for reproductive health and rights, and advance global health. And they do much of this through many large initiatives, through their marketing campaigns, through marches, their policy initiatives, and just their clinics in general that help educate consumers. We'll talk about strategic planning, so this will be a market assessment, an organizational assessment, and how they use feedback models to improve their work. And we'll also talk about healthcare marketing and how these effective strategies are used to educate the general population as well. When we delve into Planned Parenthood, it's really interesting because actually 1 in 5 American women has chosen Planned Parenthood for their healthcare at some point, which is way more than most people would think. They really do have a stronghold in these rural communities that don't always have access to resources. And since they are old, they were originally founded on the idea that women should have the information and care they need to live strong and healthy lives and fulfill their dreams, actually. And this has evolved over the years, but it is interesting to still hear the old, I guess, mission that was there. All right. So for some background, like I said, we'll talk about the assessment models. Ethics is also a pretty big thing with Planned Parenthood. Obviously, HIPAA is a legal rule that everyone has to follow in the medical community. And then we'll talk about their effective and very creative marketing strategies that target different groups of people, their various platforms, and potential ideas that I may have to help their campaigns. And then we'll talk about their clear political presence that can create challenges but also can be advantageous to them at times. So moving on to class, we talked about the market assessment model in class, and this was the one that was the model that was given to us in the slideshows. And so when we go evaluate this on the Planned Parenthood side, we'll look at the healthcare workforce, which is a highly trained, skilled workforce that really includes anybody from the administrative side to those that perform abortions, physicians that just give general care, and like the rest of the United States, Planned Parenthood is definitely in the need for abortion doctors. That is a hard field to go into at this moment, and definitely something that will be needed in the years to come. In addition to, public health workers tend to have a really high burnout rate because they do have a high, there's a lot of work hours and not as much enough compensation to make up for that. So that is something that is in constant need as well. And then when we move on to the next, the consumers and payers. So these are those that would, the customers of Planned Parenthood, those that would be using their services, and also those that are providing donations. So it is definitely important to make sure that they are happy, essentially, or supporting the cause, because they are responsible for spreading the word, for sharing that Instagram post or that Facebook post, or recommending Planned Parenthood to their friends, or pressing the donate link. In terms of competitive rivalry, there really isn't another entity that tries to accomplishes what Planned Parenthood does on that scale. There are local clinics, and Planned Parenthood is definitely in support of these as well, because although they do want to have a nationwide stronghold, they can't be always in each individual town. When you look at the regulatory environment, this is where some of the great challenges are, and this can change with the current administration. As of right now, it definitely is a challenge, but that definitely could change in the next 4 years. However, it is up to Planned Parenthood to be able to adapt based on who is in office at the time. And then innovations in technology, we'll talk about a bot that they have on their website that's a new innovation, but they also have up-to-date medical procedures, a great media presence that has actually won them many media excellence awards. All right, and then moving on to the organizational assessment. they have very clear strategies that target different populations, whether this is by using their Instagram and promoting different aspects, or also through their Twitter, their Facebook. They really are trying to kind of hit every different age group and different sexual orientation, different sexual identity, to be able to, I guess, teach anybody about their reproductive rights and how to be in a good relationship, essentially. And then also, I looked at their cost and revenue structure, and much of their revenue comes from private donors and government reimbursements. Now, they are at a profit as of the last report in 2017. However, we all know that that can very easily change. So it is important to ensure that they are continually increasing revenues. When we look at ethics and social responsibility, we'll start with the individual level, which is to that person seeking the immediate need for their care. And Planned Parenthood has to do right by them. And then organizationally, they have to do right by their staff and their values as an organization. Societally, they have initiatives and efforts through political campaigns, marches, and they want to decrease health disparities, so they have to make sure that those are aligned. And then HIPAA can be very hard with these topics. There's been many stories of parents calling a Planned Parenthood organization demanding information on what care their child received. Moving on to analysis, so there's a large media presence for Planned Parenthood. Tools like Rue and the Abortion Care Finder are really important. Rue is the bot that we talked about online that targets young adults that want to learn more about sexual reproduction or sex ed, and it's just a great way for young adults to be able to do their own research without necessarily feeling embarrassed. The Abortion Care Finder can be really necessary for those in more rural populations, and this just really increases education. Current strategies are, they have many different hashtags. They have this FUCK campaign that they hand out a condom with, but it's just kind of a fun way to get people's attention. They will get famous people. These are different singers or bands. This is Jonathan Van Ness, which not only appeals to LGBTQ community, but kind of anybody who's watched Queer Eye or in that realm. They'll talk about different holidays, so Valentine's Day, and then just the classic pamphlet as well. But those are some really cool campaigns. And then they also have a very large presence on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, their website. Some suggested methods I have is, I think it's really important, it would be a cool way if they increased personal stories. So this could be a blog or something that's linked on their different social media page. They could do affiliate marketing, which is just sponsored marketing for women's care essentials. And so this could be something like tampons, pads, emergency contraceptive, nail file, sanitary wipes, or also branding their own tampon and working with colleges to make sure that these are available in all college bathrooms is a great way. And then having a link for donations could be another way to increase revenue as well. They do have one on their website, but they could link it in all of their social media platforms. Moving on to their challenges. So like we said, a lot of their funding does come from the government. That's about 34% from government health service reimbursements and grants. And so that is definitely a challenge, especially if they want to take that away. Trump's gag rule forced Planned Parenthood to withdraw from Title X, which in order to continue to provide abortion referrals and care. And this made funding decrease by about $60 million. And then just general consumer backlash with the anti-choice rhetoric and lack of a holistic understanding of Planned Parenthood services. And then another challenge just that goes along with marketing in general is maintaining a uniform presence across platforms. You obviously want these different platforms to appeal to a lot of different people, yet you still have to maintain that one united sense of organization in that as well, which can be difficult. And now moving on to the conclusion, I'd just like to say that Planned Parenthood really is an innovative and continuously evolving nonprofit, and that's awesome. They have strategic marketing, and this is absolutely essential for their success, especially since much of their efforts go towards education and generating worldwide support. And their assessment models align with their overall mission and vision. The increased funding really could make a huge difference. It could increase the amount of clinics that they have or educational services, but their main challenges are still related to the political climate and public perception, and they do have to find a way to be able to survive with conservative leadership without compromising their values. This is my references. Thank you so much for listening.